Hey guys, welcome to Blaugrana United. Welcome to another video. And today it's time to talk about Barcelona, about youngsters, La Masia, giving players opportunities to be able to succeed. And for a moment, forget about Barcelona. Just think about any player in world football and remember that without opportunities, without real quality opportunities, none of the best players in the world would have reached the heights that they've reached with whichever club. And because I'm a Barcelona fan, I will be taking examples from previous Barcelona legends and even some of the current ones that maybe wouldn't have reached those heights if it wasn't for the managers, for the way that we structure the team, so they would be able to have opportunities and be able to succeed at Barcelona. And how important it is for players that we know that can succeed to give them time to, if we know that they have the qualities, the technique, the physical ability to be able to succeed at Barcelona, then we must give those players chances. Let's get started with one of the most important names in Barcelona's history, and that is Xavi Hernandez. Xavi started playing with the first team in the 98. Like, he became a first team player in the 1998 season with Luis van Gaal, and he was very important for Barcelona. Xavi, you could see his technique. Like, he was a number 10, like in his beginnings. He progressed into a center midfielder, but he was for the times of Makalele, Edgar Davids, players like that, players that profile very physically, that the midfielders, either you were very good defensively and run a lot of miles, or you were a player that scored a lot of goals, which Xavi was not one thing or the other. He was a distributor of the game. He was the organizer of the play. But Xavi, for the 1998 season to the 2000-2001, for those 3 seasons, Xavi did not succeed at Barcelona. And it wasn't until the 2001-2002 season that Xavi finally started finding his place in the team, evolving, because Van Gaal was he promoted him to the first team, and he was a great player. Like, you could see the talent that Xavi had, but some people didn't believe in him, and overall the Barcelona fan base did not believe in him because he wasn't succeeding. But it was during a very difficult time at Barcelona, because it was during the Gaspart era, which was the era where Barcelona had to fight to get into the Europa League, and Xavi wasn't succeeding at that point. But he needed time. He needed 3 seasons. And we're talking about here probably the best central midfielder to ever play for Barcelona. And he needed 3 seasons to adapt to Barcelona, to adapt to the team, to be able to fit into the team tactically, to learn how to be defensively sound without having to be the midfielders of the time. You'll have also the case of Andres Iniesta, who started playing the first team 2003 season, and it wasn't until the 2008 season, 2008-2009, so we're talking about here 5 seasons, that Iniesta didn't have a place in the team, or at least didn't tactically suit. Like, you couldn't play Xavi and Iniesta together because it was a complete disaster. And looking at it right now, you might be like, what is this guy talking about? But Iniesta wasn't able ever to play with Xavi in the midfield. Like, as 2 interiors, they were not able to play together. It was impossible. Iniesta sometimes playing in the wing, sometimes he played next to Keita, but he wasn't able to succeed because Iniesta just tactically was more of, he profiled in the number 10, and then he tried to be playing a pivot position in the wing, but in midfield it just wasn't what Barcelona needed, and Frank Rijkaard didn't have him precisely playing that way. But it was very important for him, obviously, Pep Guardiola, who it wasn't until January 2009 that Iniesta finally was able to play in midfield next to Xavi. It was also thanks to probably having Busquets behind him, covering for him in that position. And that's exactly the next point, the next player that I'm coming up with, and that is Sergio Busquets, the best defensive-minded midfielder in the world, at least in my opinion, that ever, or at least in the history of the sport. Right now, he probably is not, but it's nothing to do because of his physical. Like, it doesn't have to do anything with his age. It has to do because he's probably mentally tired. Because Busquets, in comparison to every other defensive midfielder in the world, he's special because he's able to see the game in its entirety. Like, he's able to see where a pass is going to go before it happens. He's anticipating to what's going to happen, and he gets there to disrupt the play for the other team and be able to get possession back for Barcelona, lead the press for us. That is why Busquets is more important than any other player for the way that Barcelona plays, because he's the linchpin that holds the Barca midfield together. That's what I'm saying. If we can have runners around Sergio Busquets, we can still have one of the best midfields in the world, if not the best midfield in the world, because he's able to clean up for all the defensive effort that the team needs. If he has two runners around him that are able to distribute the ball for Barcelona. But the same as Pedro, Busquets wouldn't have been able to succeed at Barcelona if it wasn't for Guardiola. Busquets was playing in the fourth tier of Spanish football, in Tercera División, and with Pedro, he also debuted in the 2008-2009 season. He went from playing in Spain's fourth tier to the first tier of football in a matter of months, weeks, and he displaced Yaya Touré while doing it. Yaya Touré, who, as you guys know, really important for Barcelona, really great player, one of the best central midfielders I've seen in the world ever. He was amazing. He was fast. He was strong. Good defensively. He was that classic box-to-box central midfielder with skill, good shot in him. He had everything, and yet Busquets was able to displace him out of the team. Yaya Touré, who maybe should have stayed at Barcelona for a couple more seasons, but Busquets was so important that Guardiola understood that doesn't matter how young he is, he's ready for the first team, and he's better than Touré is at that position even at his age. That's what I'm saying. That do you think that Ernesto Valverde really, like, saying this right now would be like asking Valverde to put Oriol Busquets instead of, I don't know, of Busquets himself, or putting maybe, I don't know, letting Carles Perez be the substitute of Luis Suarez? That's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. The kid might have the ability to become a really important player for Barcelona, but because Valverde is not able to develop him, it's not able to give him minutes, and it's not gonna give him the continuity that he needs, the player's not gonna succeed. There's other examples of Guardiola, who he said it multiple times that without Cruyff, he wouldn't have been a professional player probably, that he wouldn't have played in Primera, which is La Liga. Puyol started really bad at Barcelona. For the first couple of games he was horrendous, but then he became the best centre back in the world, and definitely Barcelona's best ever centre back, without a shadow of a doubt. Sergio Roberto debuted in 2011, and it wasn't on the 2013 season where he started to have continuity, but continuity in the sense that he was actually promoted to the first team in 2013, yet he didn't play that many games. And it wasn't until January 2016 when Luis Enrique started playing him in that right back spot and finally found a position in the team. Sergio Roberto didn't start succeeding at Barcelona until January 2016 in that right back spot. And in the summer of 2016, Dani Alves leaves Barcelona for Juventus, and Sergio Roberto takes that mantle as the first team right back and succeeds at Barcelona. It's thanks to Luis Enrique that Sergio Roberto right now is a current mainstay in this Barcelona team. And the most important cases of all, Lionel Messi. The best player in the world in my opinion, and for many others. A player that has everything, that plays as a winger, as a striker, as a false nine, as an attacking midfielder, as a creative distributor in midfield. He plays as everything. He does everything for you. He's the ultimate attacking player. And yet, Messi was another case of a player that could have not succeeded at Barcelona. Where we had the likes of, like, a lot of people are saying that the reason that Guardiola won the Champions League, that he won the treble, it was because of Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta. But if we look at the numbers, Xavi, Messi, and Iniesta were in 2006, 2007 season and 2007, 2008 season, where Barcelona did not win anything, and in 2007-08 season, we lost La Liga by I think 14 points or something like that to Madrid, and it is what it is. Messi had always the potential. You could see that the potential was always there, but he was getting. You really remember that Lionel Messi was a player that got injured very Dembele-esque. Like, he was getting injured maybe each month. He was getting injury of 2-3 weeks. And it started to look horribly for Messi because he was a player that depended on his explosivity. Like, he was a very explosive player. His ankles were very explosive to him. They were really critical for his pace, for his speed, his change of direction. And if he started to lose that, he wouldn't have been the same player that he was. But thanks to Guardiola, he put some rules. He helped him through, like, being not more professional, but like follow a better path for his career. And Messi has to attribute his success of his career. A big part of Guardiola takes in that into making him the best player in the world. And it is what it is. Like, Messi in 2008-2009 season became another player. That's what I'm saying, that since that season, in 2009, Messi should have been winning every single Ballon d'Or and every single major trophy that attempts to recognize the best player of a season or the best player of a year. In 2009, Messi should have every single Ballon d'Or, and it's all thanks to Guardiola, because he made him the best player in the world. And that's why, because opportunities are so important. If it wasn't because of some managers, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Pedro, Puyol, Messi, Guardiola, Sergio Roberto, and there's many others, but these mainly are the ones that I want to talk about, because most of these players have been legends at this club, and yet they were players that maybe we wouldn't even know who they were if it wasn't because the managers gave them a chance. So when I see people talking about Ousmane Dembele, that he needs to step up, that this is his last season to show us something, maybe it is, but if you're gonna criticize him, make sure that at least you're making it fairly, that you are making sure that is he being given the same amount of minutes as everyone else. Like, I'm sure that Dembele succeeds at Barcelona if he starts like this season with 10 games in a row where 6 of those he plays full games, and he starts all those 10 games. I'm sure that Dembele shuts up everyone else and breaks into be one of the best players in the world, and goes and battles to Kylian Mbappe for the best Golden Boy player. I'm sure of it. The reason that right now Mbappe is touted to be the best youngster in the world is because he's getting a lot of minutes and trust and plays in a system that suits him at Paris Saint-Germain. If roles would have been changed, then I am positive that Dembele would be the golden boy and not Mbappe at Barcelona. Because we brought a player like Coutinho to play midfield, and then we put him against Dembele to play in the attack all of a sudden, and no one is saying anything about this. Or we bring in Malcolm, who I think is a great player, but we shouldn't have signed Malcolm because there was no space for Malcolm in the team. And this is why Ousmane Dembele is not succeeding. Like, we need the best of Dembele next season, but we have to make sure that he's given the minutes and opportunities that he needs to be able to break in, to get continuity, to succeed at Barcelona. Same thing with Semedo. I'm sure that this season, playing those 80% of the minutes that he's going to play, because Sergio Roberto is apparently not going to play him at right back again, then I'm sure that he will succeed. Todibo in the future, if he's given progressively more and more minutes every season, I'm sure that he will succeed. It's all about giving players opportunities, because without opportunities, we wouldn't know most of these players that have been legends for Barcelona, that keep being legends at this club. So with all said and done, leave me all your opinions in the comment section below. What do you think about what I've talked about? Do you not agree with me? Do you think that these players would have, regardless, been the best in their respective positions and roles, regardless of the manager? Or do you think that players need to be given opportunities to show what they're made of, and that we need to take things slow when needed, and we need to be giving them chances when they're completely ready, or when they're clearly ready, that they're able to step up into the first team? Leave me all your opinions in the comment section below. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Blaugranas.
But we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I believe